Hi, and welcome to episode 6 of the Good Enough Mums Club podcast, where sometimes being good enough is best.
Before we dive into the podcast, just a heads up that sometimes we and our guests swear a little bit. So if you have the littles around, you might be best holding off till bedtime or until you pack them off to school finally.
How will I ever be good enough? When will the loneliness fade? When will it fade away? Why does it have to be so tough? Hard as I try, I'll never be good enough.
I'm Jade Samuels.
And I'm Emily Beecher, and we are the hosts of the Good Enough Mums Club podcast.
Every week, we'll initiate a mum into the club and explore the complexities and realities of modern motherhood.
You can join the club or find out more about the musical or future episodes of the podcast by following us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram by searching Good Enough Mums Club. And don't forget to subscribe to the podcast, rate and review wherever you listen.
Now, in this episode, we're chatting to the wonderful Gemma Knight Jones, actor, singer, and mother. And we're really lucky to have her play Michelle in the current rehearsal and development phase of the Good Enough Mums Club musical.
Gemma is so talented and has performed in some amazing shows you might have heard of, like The Lion King, The Curious Incident of the Dog in the Nighttime, Falsettos, Sister Act, Hairspray, and Rent. She's also the co-founder of Songbird Sessions, a vocal services company that provides music for events as well as choirs for businesses and vocal coaching. It goes without saying that her voice is incredible.
We touch on so many subjects in this episode, being a working mum in the theatre, musical world, as well as lots of chats about the Good Enough Mums Club musical itself.
So let's not waste another second. Let's get into it. Hello, Gemma.
Hi, ladies. Hi, Emily. Hi, Jay.
Hi. We are catching up on Zoom because, lockdown. But do you want to just describe to us where you sort of currently are, where you're hanging out, etc.?
I am in the back room of my house. I mean, it's pretty much been this for me for the last, God knows how many months in lockdown. Yeah, either here or the garden, but somewhere around my house.
Yeah, exactly. There's not a lot of variety available.
No, I mean, slowly we're getting there, aren't we? So we're enjoying some days out now, me and the boy, which is lovely. And the sun's shining. So now the sun's shining, I'm like, yeah, let's get out and go and do some stuff.
Amazing, isn't it? It's just a little bit of freedom. Freedom.
Yes.
So we're going to kick off with a little round of Would You Rather, and we are looking for quick fire answers, whatever first comes into your head.
Okay.
So I'll kick off with Paw Patrol or Peppa Pig?
Paw Patrol. 100%.
She's too rude, Peppa, isn't she?
Yeah, I can't take Peppa.
Oh no, I can't take those bloody dogs.
Yeah. No, Paw Patrol all the way.
Okay.
I'm with the English accent rather than the American.
Oh, yeah.
Would you rather clean up baby poo or baby sick?
Baby poo, I think. I'm going with baby poo.
Brilliant. We'll take it. Favorite song to sing? One, or we'll take your top 3.
I'd say up there is Whitney Houston, Saving All My Love for You.
Ooh, nice.
And another, I'm going for top, but I'm definitely 2. Another would be Alicia Keys, If I Ain't Got You. And my third would probably be Ain't Nobody Loves Me Better. Yeah, a bit of Shaka Khan.
Oh my God.
Yes. Giving you all the divas and
I love it. Yeah.
I didn't say how well I can sing them, but I like singing those ones.
Yeah, whatever.
Just for FYI, Gemma has a beautiful singing voice. Can we just say that?
Thanks,
Yeah.
ladies. Thanks.
All right. Okay, Gemma, you got to watch a kid's film 5 times a day, every day, forevermore. What film are you watching?
Incredibles. Any Disney. I don't think I'd have too much problem, actually. The Incredibles.
Great choice.
Yeah. I like them. I like most of those films. They're good. There's something in there for the adults with the Disney films. Like, Seb's 3 now, so he's now only now is starting to watch Disney, and I'm like, yeah, hallelujah, that's fine. I mean, all the old school ones, like the Aladdins, and I'm like, I remember the old version. Now there's a new version. We've got two to choose from, and all the Disney ones, I'm pretty happy to sit down and watch a little bit. Or Frozen, you could probably drop me out of that one. He's just discovered that from an advert, nonetheless, not even from the actual show. There's an advert. I think it's one of the Meerkat adverts, and it has "Let It Go" playing. So he was singing to me, "I'm let it go, let it." And I was like, why do you know that? We haven't ever watched Frozen. And then I realised it was from an advert. So now Frozen's on the list, which I'm not as happy about.
Right. If you wait a couple of years, there's the ones like Coco and Inside Out and stuff.
See, I've watched Coco. I've watched that myself.
Yeah.
I watched it the other day. It's brilliant.
I was
Absolutely
inconsolable.
brilliant.
Absolutely broken in the cinema, crying my little eyes out.
I get it. Up is another one that the first.
Oh my God, the first 10 minutes of Up are the most soul-destroying pieces of cinema ever created.
What are they doing to you? Yeah.
Would you rather be stuck in a lift with Gina Ford or Super Nanny?
Super Nanny.
Would you rather go to the theatre or go to the cinema?
Theatre.
We miss it.
It just feels special. Oh, we miss it. Yeah, I miss it. And I think it still very much feels like an occasion, even though it's what I do for my job.
Yeah.
I go to the theatre, and every time I go, I'm in awe of those performers on that stage. And I'm going, how have they done that? They are polished. They look brilliant. They sound amazing. And obviously, because you do it, the work that has gone into that, and that they're probably very tired and can't be asked. But yet still what you're getting is, so theatre every time.
Amazing. Well, you mention on your Twitter bio that you are a popcorn lover. So salty or sweet?
Sweet.
Oh.
And now in recent times, salty mixed with sweet. We can
I
go
think
both.
that is the ultimate choice for me personally.
The sweet salty mix, but the sweet from the cinema, because that tastes different to the supermarket sweet ones.
It does.
You can't get nothing. I really like a little slightly stale cinema sweet popcorn.
You know what? I moved here and we do not have sweet popcorn in Canada.
No,
and when I moved here, someone was like, "Do you want sweet?" And I was like, "No, I want butter." And they were like, "What?"
What?
And I was like, "No, we literally pour butter, like scoops of butter onto our popcorn." And they were like, "But do you want salty or sweet?" And I was just like, "What is this abomination of popcorn?" But
I like it. The mix. Yes, go with the mix. I do like the mix.
Okay, Gemma, Noughts and Grasses, are you all about the book or the TV series?
I must confess, I've not read the books.
Ooh.
I watched the TV series and absolutely loved it, and was like, I should read the books. I don't know if it just passed me by when I was younger. I don't really massively recall them at all from my childhood per se. But I watched the series and was like, this is amazing. This is absolutely amazing. And I will read the books.
Maisie's just read the first book and and of course, because I recommended it, she was like, it's going to suck.
Yeah.
And then literally it was that thing where she's like staying up really late to kind of finish it. And it just, really affected her in the most amazing
the books
way.
Generally of anything are usually the juice, right, aren't they? So I'm sure that even if the adaptation is really good, I'm sure the books are absolutely fantastic.
Yeah. Last question. What is the first word you think of when you think of the word mum?
Tired.
That's exactly what I think of every single time we ask this question. Tired. Yeah, unequivocally. Amen. There's nothing more to be said about that, is that? Every mum listening is like,
it's when people who aren't parents say they're tired, and I almost get angry at them, because I think you just don't know. You don't know what tiredness is until you've been sleep tortured for so long, and then after that sleep torture, you have to go to work, and you're on all the time.
It's bad to actually resent them, but you do. You're just like, let me not say anything before I just say too much about your tiredness. That's what it's like. Nod and say
All right then, Gemma. So we're going to ask you some questions now.
Okay.
What was your journey like to becoming a mum?
Okay, so that's a long question, that is, I think, a long-winded one, but so I was in The Lion King. I'd been in that show for a couple of years, and I had stayed a third year, mostly because I wanted to stay, try and have a baby, get the maternity, and see what happened after. Didn't quite go that way. Took me and my partner a while to fall pregnant. And I got to the point in the show that I had to decide whether I was going to stay or I was going to go. So at that point, I thought, well, I don't really want to stay for a fourth year. I'm going to go. We would just have to just make it work. I then fell pregnant, literally, as I was leaving. I'd obviously signed on the dotted line, said I was going in the November time, I want to say. Cast change happens in the May. I was pregnant. I was very newly pregnant then, but obviously the deed was done by then. I was out. So I was like, oh yeah. I also around that same time got my next job, which was fantastic. So it worked out that I was literally finishing The Lion King on the Sunday and I was starting The Curious Incident of the Dog in the Nighttime on the Monday. So I had gone into that show knowing that I was pregnant. On top of that, I had not too long signed with my new agent. Obviously fantastic that I'd got the job. And I was like, okay, this is all good, but oh my goodness, I'm pregnant. So I sat on that obviously now for 3 months, before I wanted to say anything to anybody, as usual. Don't say anything until that 3 months when I felt confident that, I'd be okay and the pregnancy was definitely real. And even that was quite a stressful time because, The Curious Incident has been, to date, my hardest physical experience in the show, to date. We would start our sessions with an hour circuit training in the morning, every morning. And then straight off the back of doing our hour circuits, we would then start to do all the lifting portion, because I don't know if either of you've seen it. Yeah. And it's funny because it doesn't look like much on stage, but it's a hell of a lot of work, lifting the guy that plays the lead role of Christopher. And obviously you're trying to build up the stamina to do it. And with these lifts, the way that Frantic have designed them, this should be easy. Obviously you have people doing them and together, it should be easy, but you have to go through a process for them to be easy. So then we'd practice, and in rehearsal we were doing them again and again and again. So there was a bit of stress definitely attached, I think, to the beginning of my pregnancy, in the sense that I was doing quite a lot of physical activity. And fair enough, I had come from a show. I was in show mode. I'd been in a musical already. I was used to being up and active, but this was definitely felt like another gear for me. And I remember, just by chance, sort of midway through the contract, I just had these half days, and thank God for them, because I would literally come home from rehearsal at like 1 o'clock and just be dead. I'd be sleeping for a few hours, and that just happened. Just nice. It happened for about a week or two, just when I was feeling mega tired with this pregnancy. But I told everyone eventually when I got to that 3-month mark, all received really well, which was really nice to experience, because I think even from our talk ladies in this, that when you started this process and you couldn't find very many people that were pregnant and in this industry, I massively felt like I was the only one. Like, surely I was the first woman that was pregnant and trying to be in a show, and being an actress and being pregnant. Who did I think I was? So I was stressed out with all of that, but beautifully received by my agent, by everybody at Curious. And they were lovely at Curious. They're quite a women-heavy team anyway, which I think helped. The director was a woman. Stage management, I think they were all women. In fact, all backstage, everybody was women. So that, I think, helped. I was moved down a level from my dressing room, so I didn't have as many stairs to climb, and just treated very, very well. So I then proceeded to stay at the show for the duration of my pregnancy, really. I left at 36 weeks pregnant. I was well and happy the whole entire time. Like, I didn't suffer from anything too bad, really. It was a really textbook boring pregnancy, which I was happy about. And I left 36 weeks pregnant and had Sebi like 6 days early on the 1st of January. So that's my little New Year's celebration. That's my little boy. Yeah, and now he's 3. So I'm like, here we are, 3 years late, or 3 and a bit late years later.
Aww. It's amazing to hear. Like, we keep hearing different stories about how the industry is with mums and stuff like that, and how generally other jobs, other professions are with, pregnant women. And it's just so nice to hear that you had such a great experience, but probably not all surprising that it was such a female team behind it as well. That was, that didn't look at it like your pregnancy is an illness, that someone needs to cure.
No, absolutely. That, and I mean the National Theatre. So I suppose you'd hope and expect that, leading space here for us is one that is, fighting that good fight and should be treating everybody the way that we should be treated, regardless of your situation. So yeah, thank goodness it was a really good experience. And even since then, though, it's funny how your world opens up when things that are totally not relevant to you. As soon as they are, you're like, there's other people that are in the same boat. And as I left The Lion King, I then discovered that there was 3 other girls that were all pregnant around that same kind of time. One was a dancer in the show, one was a singer, same as me, and another was a girl that was an actress, but she used to work front of house. Backstage, but at the reception there at backstage, she used to work there. And we found that all of us were actually pregnant all around the same time. We've all got kids all literally within a couple of months of each other now. So even that was so lovely to connect with these ladies that were now on that same journey as me. And I went from feeling very lonely and, oh my goodness, it's just me, to actually, there are other people being as crazy and mad and doing this, trying to do both of these things at the same time.
It sounds like the summit in the water at the Lion King.
Something was going on in there. And actually, it's so funny as well. Actually, now I'm thinking about it. There was a girl that was there. She had left before me, but she was pregnant before I was pregnant, and the girl that I sort of was quite close with, and she was fantastic. I found her so inspirational because she just was. She was a dancer. She didn't miss a beat. She went as long as she could, probably not as long as me, but because she was doing such a physical thing in The Lion King.
Of course.
But I remember feeling like so inspired seeing this girl that I was like, this is possible here for sure. She's a dancer in the show. She can do this here in the show and be a dancer. Then, we can manage. I'll be okay doing it when I just kind of do hand movements like this across the stage. Which is basically what I did.
Those lion hand movements.
Exactly. But I think that's so important to see other women doing it, right? Like,
Completely.
Otherwise you do feel like you said that you're the only one and it's really lonely, and have I made a mistake? Obviously you don't think that about your pregnancy, but you think about it in terms of your career for sure.
Yeah, really important. Really, really important. Yeah, just a good example, I think, to have had. So yeah, it was it was a lovely, thank goodness, really nice sort of journey to becoming a mother once I was pregnant and got over the stresses of the first few months. Yeah.
Well, I guess slightly tougher question, but what do you think the hardest thing about motherhood is for you?
Goodness. I think the lack of freedom, I'd say, is a hard thing for me. Yeah, it's not even in the big things like, okay, I can't just go out and get off my face, you know what I mean, and be drunk and have a 4-day hangover and not worry about it. It's not even that so much, because I think with age as well, you kind of a little bit more responsible. You do that a lot less. But it's in the little small things. It's in the silly little things that you don't even think about before you have kids, like being able to go to the toilet on your own without someone just opening up the door, and in Sebastian's case, sitting on my lap, You're like, give me 2 minutes, just 2, it's fine. So I think it's in silly things like that. It's just the freedom to just kind of have a shower, have a bath, have a little bit of you time, and not someone going, can I have, what are we doing? Yeah, just taking a little bit of you all the time.
Yeah.
So I still struggle with that, because I think, again, as the kids grow, there's different, it changes. Some stuff, you're like, okay, I haven't got him strapped to me, literally, as an extension of me now. But now he walks and talks and asks for things. So it's different challenges now that so I suppose, as the kids get older, it just changes into something else that they're dependent on you for.
Completely.
Yeah, I think, and what they want is so different, isn't it? Because I was just thinking, when you said, you can't pop out, but I can pop to the shops if I needed to, because Maisie's old enough to sort of be responsible at home for, a little bit, but she never stops talking. Like, ever. I literally had to say to her the other day, can we please just walk up this hill quiet, like in silence? Because I just literally can't listen to you anymore.
Yeah, I mean, if Maisie doesn't understand that, Sebastian surely does not understand what quiet time is. Yeah. There's no way. there's no way. Yeah, I get that, Emily. Just quiet.
Just quiet.
just be quiet for a minute. No.
Yeah, no.
It's so funny actually you saying that. I remember everyone saying, "Oh, I can't wait till he starts talking," and I was like, "I can," and I knew it even before he could talk. I have never had a child before. He's my only child, but I remember being like, "No, I can wait till he can talk because I can imagine." And it's really funny. My mum, growing up, used to say to us, "Stop calling my name. I'm going to change my name." That was her line. "I'm going to change my name." That was her line, and I understand her now. I'm like, I 100% understand what you mean, Mum, now when you're saying that, because mum, and even if Dad's about, it's still mum. Doesn't
So, besides being called mum a million times, what do you think are some of the biggest expectations that are on you as a mum?
It's one that I put on myself, I think, more, and it's that expectation for me to do everything. And I think that's the biggest expectation. But I do think that comes a lot from me, as opposed to Sebastian or my partner or whatever asking for me to do stuff. I suppose I'm a person that likes to just I like stuff done when I want it done and how I want it done. But that for me actually is a bit of a vicious cycle, because whether I'm asked to do it or not, I do it. And then I moan about doing it. And then, cuss and tell off everybody in my house because, I've done it, but I didn't have to do it. And it's funny because my partner's very good at not doing it. And I always think I should just take a leaf out of your book and just, chill out when you come in. It's like I'll get into the house and straight away I've just about got my shoes and coat off and I'm at the sink, or if there's washing in the washing machine, I've got that out. I'm doing half of about 6 different jobs. And then stressed out because I'm doing half of those 6 jobs when I could just go, "No, Jem, if you want to come in and sit in the garden for half an hour first and collect your thoughts and, just chill out and have a minute, then do that." But it's funny. That's why I think that pressure is a pressure I put on myself. But yes, an expectation to do it all.
But as much, I feel you on that, Jem, because realistically, I could be using that time to relax, but I can't relax if everything's all around me. It's like,
that's it.
And this is what I'm saying. So then it's like, I know it's a double-edged sword, but I'm like, I'd rather spend, if I've got half an hour, I'd rather spend 20 minutes do it saying, right, let me whiz as many jobs as I can and sit down for 10 with a cup of tea, rather than sit down for that half an hour and then feel the guilt of being unproductive. It sounds that it's really bad, isn't it? That's how we are.
It's really bad. It is really bad, because I think we're the ones that are losing out, aren't we? Because when we then, like you said, you've either cut that time out, that you time, whatever that time is, Jade, or you haven't had it at all because you go, okay, these little stupid jobs have taken, they've taken precedence there.
Yeah.
Bad. Yes, I don't know how to get out of that cycle. Any help would be, much appreciated. Emily, you're very quiet there.
I was just like, yeah. You know what? This is, yeah. There are just days where it doesn't stop, and you just actually, I did that. Like, it didn't have to be done perfectly. I could have just like the number of times I tell Maisie to put the dishes in the dishwasher and then I move the dishes around. like, you know what? If it's on an angle, it's still going to get clean. It's still in that little hot box of hot water, and so like the angle of the dish doesn't matter. But then I just do it anyways. It's mental.
What kind of stereotypes do you see about yourself in the media, Gemma, that you just look at and you think, I really, really hate that? The way that they represent people that are from the same world as you, whatever that world is that you can't stand.
I think for me, that would maybe be that I'm a single parent, and this is absolutely, of course, no, at all bad feeling towards single parent. I've plenty of friends and family members that are single parents, but I think that as a Black woman, I feel like that is something that maybe people think more easily, because I think there's a massive stereotype that Black dads don't stay about. Incidentally, my partner's white, but I don't think it makes much difference. I think that people will look at me and think there's quite a big chance I'm on my own. And I recall being asked, "Oh, where's the dad? I was at home." it was a question really similar. Or when does he get to see his dad? Or
Oh.
every night because he's at home. But it is those assumptions. So I think that's one that sticks out in my head. That is an assumption that people. I don't know. You almost think, how are you so brash to actually assume
It's
this?
so
Actually, just
people are
when you could just ask a question. Actually, it's a more direct question rather than assuming and make an assumption that you know who I am because of maybe the colour of my skin.
I mean, I knew very early on that I wasn't going to be with Ray's dad. He was not the man I knew I should have spent my life with. But it was in the back of my mind, raising her and raising, you know what I mean? I thought, it's such a statistic now, Jade.
Yeah.
It's...
Yeah. At the end of the day, you would choose never to be with someone that's not right to you, for you, over. And there's probably a lot of women that have done that maybe because they're so scared of the stigma that's maybe attached to being alone, rather than actually, choosing self and choosing what's best for you and your child, and say, well, that means I'm going to be on my own, then so be it,
Completely. I do think it's that picture that we've got in our heads of what a family is that screws us all up.
100%.
I think it's interesting that I've never looked at probably that's my privilege, but I've never looked at my single parenting in that same way.
That is interesting.
Yeah, I've just never looked. I have gotten the, where's her dad? But we are separated, so he is somewhere else. And I spent 2 years where Maisie's dad was still in Canada when I'd come back here, so it was just literally the two of us. But it's interesting that even though I am a single parent, people don't necessarily look at me and think that, which is just, it just really makes me mad.
Yeah, it's crazy, isn't it? I've probably never even considered the fact that you wouldn't necessarily get that as a stereotype, but I definitely feel that. I think as a black woman, especially, it's funny as well because you've seen, just because of how our working lives are, I'm with Seb a lot on my own.
Yeah,
I'm home in the daytimes with him. We go out on our own together, so it is us two a lot. There's far fewer family outings with the three of us than there is me and him. So
yeah, I mean, what does bug me is the stereotype of all single mums that we're really shouty. We all have kids by multiple dads. That's always it. We always have our hair tied way too tightly, and we're shouty, and we kind of shuffle funny. Like if you watch soap single moms, they're always they have this weird shuffle that they do, they're sort of something weird.
Yeah, they're a mess. And it's so interesting, even that single mum thing is it's not good in the sense of that, in the media what's perpetuated is someone that's not really managing.
Yeah.
But do you know what I mean? Is not spending any time looking good, feeling good, none of that. But actually she is on an uphill struggle, which is again not the case. You girls here as perfect examples. Absolutely not the case that you're out there, dragging your ass and
shuffling, dragging Ray by the scruff of her neck,
shouting.
shouting.
They're always really mean to their kids, right? I'm always like that. Just drives me.
I can be mean to her when
I just said to her the other day, I brought you into this world, I can take you out again.
Yeah, who hasn't said that? By the time they get to 10,
I know. By the time they're 10, I was just like, that's it.
It's so funny, all of those lines that you never thought you'd say to your parents, don't you? You're totally like, oh shit, I said it now.
I have become my mother, and you do it, and you're like, oh no.
Yeah.
Sure. Let's go back to what's something about motherhood you never expected.
I never expected to think about death so much.
Okay.
I think that, I don't know, I feel like life and death, having a kid just makes you so aware of death, in the sense that you're always thinking about them dying. I think about Sebastian dying quite regularly, just being an accident, something bad happened. And I don't think I ever expected to be thinking about my mortality or his mortality, or, just the bigger how do you even say it? Existential questions in life. So that's something that I don't think I expected. The other, I think, is I'd never expected to be able to function on so little sleep, because I can now function on it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
which is brilliant. I mean, I've never been a person that has like needed 8-9 hours. I've always actually, maybe 6 or 7 and I'm all right. That doesn't mean I'm not tired. But I think being able to function in the sense of actually doing a good job anywhere is, is somewhere that I think I probably thought I'm never going to be able to manage this again. Like I remember prepping not too long after having Seb and going to auditions and being like, this is bad. I've got there's no retention for any of these words. I had some shit auditions, like not too long after having him. I couldn't retain any song, and song lyrics for me, no, they go in. They will just go in. But like scripts and stuff may be a little harder, but with songs, that's not really a problem. And songs, I had such, it became a real thing for me that I get something to learn. And it became a real block. And I had a good lot of auditions that went badly because I just could not, my brain was not functioning because of lack of sleep. So obviously I get more sleep than I did when he was obviously a newborn and stuff now, but I can function. You're still tired.
Yeah.
But I definitely think there was times when I was like, I'm never going to be able to juggle these two. I'm never going to be able to just pick up and have an audition that's coming up in 2 days and be able to actually go in there and feel like I've done a good job and that I'm actually going to potentially get this job, as opposed to coming out and being like, that's another one.
But the thing that I was going to say, Gemma, the thing is your body actually pumps you full of hormones to dumb you down. So you find the brain numbingness of parenting easier for that first year or so. So like, I don't think we talk about
year. Can I just say 10 years in? People still say, what's that lyric? And I'll be like, I don't know what you're talking about. They're like, you literally wrote it? And I'd be like, yes, but I can't remember. I put it onto the script and you can ask me. There are a few things that I remember, but literally it goes on that page and out of my brain. And if I don't write lists about everything.
But that's what that's the point I was trying to make, essentially. We go through this process that completely alters our brain chemistry and who we are as people. And I just don't think it's spoken about enough that when women have children, they can be amazing, but they have also gone through a life-altering process. So
that really makes a lot of sense to me. And I feel like that is 100%, what is happening. I definitely am better at certain things, but there will also be things I don't think I'll ever be able to, I just don't do as good anymore. I felt like I was a really good multitasker, that I did jobs to a really good quality, which I do now, but I just think things take longer for me to do.
Yeah.
Same as you, Emily, like my brain just forgets stuff. I just will forget things. And, it takes either talking for a while about things. I'm like, oh yeah, I remember that time. Or I'm like, okay, let's just keep on what we're talking about here and now. And I'm good. So I think that there is, like you said, Jay, there's almost a journey to go on to actually accept that as well, that you have been altered and that almost you can't live in the past, can you? And it's hard, I think, when you first have that baby, because they weren't there on Monday, they're there on Tuesday, and everything changes.
It's that real.
Yeah, it's like, oh, okay, now so you're still going about last week and whatever, and how many years ago, and actually it takes some time to go through and be like, no, I've got to just be in the moment. That was what was. I'm never going back there. This is a new me now, me with as a mother and all the other things that you were doing before. It's a journey, isn't it? And the one that we have to accept as well, because that's it. You may never be able to do all the things as well as you could before having kids.
I was going to say there's a payoff. There's a wonderful payoff.
Of course, 100%.
Also, can you just imagine the superpower we have now is what you can get done in 5 minutes? Like, I think if I had understood when I was younger, I would probably speak multiple languages and have cured cancer by now, because I can get shit done in 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Whereas before 5 minutes was just a shuffle, just like a few bits, whatever.
I'm the queen of the get ready quick. Honestly, the queen. I'm just
amazing.
Like, give me 10 minutes. Give me 10 minutes. I'm ready. Even with my Afro hair, I'm like, yeah, we're good. We're going.
But it's funny you say that though. No, it's funny you say it, because like if I am going, it's very rare I do it these days, but if I'm going out, not out, I'll give myself a day to get ready, because you just don't know. It sounds ridiculous. Honestly. My friends and family laugh at me. They're like, she's going to have a bath. She's going to do her nails. She's going to do literally exfoliate every inch of her body. She's going to do, obviously, the process to get my hair into whatever style I want, to tame it, to do whatever. Like, literally, I will give myself that day, and it's such a gift. Do you know what I mean?
Oh, I love when you do that. Please keep that. I'm here for you. Keep that today. Yes. Yeah.
So when you do see those Instagram posts as well, I'm really, really done up. You'll go, that took all day.
I'm gonna write it in the comments. Next time I'm gonna be like, hey, is that an all day of that one?
It was. It depends. There's out. Like, I went out the weekend for food and drinks with my boyfriend, and I got kind of dressed up, but there's out. And he even knows. He goes, oh, is it one of them days, Jade? I'm like, it is, babe. It is. But he goes, I'll see you tonight. And goes about his day. But I'll do, like, if Ray's going to her dad's for the weekend, because then I have or if I've not got 1,000 jobs on or something like that, I'll be like, I'm going out. So that's post lockdown. I'm looking forward to an out experience.
I just made some plans with 2 of my friends, and I'm like, yep, come on, a little rooftop somewhere to go and have a couple of drinks. It won't be out, but for me, I'm like, yeah, come on, bring it on. A couple of cocktails, a bit of prosecco. Yes, please. No sip.
Love it.
Do you want to share a bit about your experience of getting involved with Good Enough Mums Club, and tell us a bit about your character and stuff like that?
This, for me, getting this show came up at the best time. I think I said this to Emily when she emailed to say hi. But I had gone out for a walk with my partner in the park. We'd gotten used to just going out every day just for a little bit of us time. And we were walking in the park this day, and as usual, I was moaning about the juggle of trying to be a parent and still trying to go for what I want to do with my career, and just how these 2 things just feel like 2 polar opposites a lot of the time. And it's just a conversation that he's heard 100,000 times and nods along, being really polite about it. But, this is exactly what it is. It's, it's this last 3 years, I think, having Seb, it is just hard to juggle things. And, there's been lots of saying no to things because, it just not going to work for your family, which is absolutely fine because it's got to work for the family. And for me, I've turned down jobs in good shows, or the chance to audition for good shows, because I knew I just didn't want to be in like a year's contract for that time. Or, I was potentially in line to do like a backstage or a swing job. I think it was maybe a offstage cover. And for me, that just didn't make sense, because I was like, the trade-off, me missing bedtimes every day a week or sitting in the dressing room, it didn't make any sense to me. I thought I would 100% rather be at home. If I was on stage in the good part, fine, that's a bit of a different discussion. But off stage, sat down, watching Netflix while I could be putting my child home, there's no comparison. I checked my child to bed, sorry. So getting this phone call from my agent, it came in a funny day. I think it was a Saturday morning or maybe late Friday night that I'd got the email coming through. And I honestly was like, are you kidding me? One, it was an offer, which is great, that I didn't have to do auditions. Like, hey, happy days. Self-tape bloody audition. I'm over self-taping. But more to the point, the subject of this show was just one that I was like, I've never seen this before. This is brilliant. And everybody that's involved in it are mums, and what they're going to work in conjunction with me being a mum. And it was literally too much to bear, ladies. I think I journaled about it because it just was. It was everything that I had literally been saying about this being 2 polar opposites had just then come together. So I was like, hallelujah. Such good timing. And then never mind the fact that we're in lockdown and we've been doing the mum thing for months on end without any breaks, really. My partner's worked the whole entire way through, so I've been on my own with Sebi, and he wasn't in nursery, of course. So again, getting this phone call after a long period of time of feeling like, okay, now I could just, I've had enough. It was fantastic timing. So I'm so happy to be on board and a member of the Good Enough Mums Club. And Michelle is a treat. I'm still getting to know, let me say. Great to, again, be in a show that is not afraid of bringing some real world issues to the table, I think. And the fact that we are celebrating diversity just in the casting, the fact that within the storylines, I mean, Michelle is the character and a mum of twin boys, and she's very much concerned with, their place in the world as well, black men eventually. But, even at 3 years old, she is concerned about how they'll be seen in the world, what stereotypes that they will, suffer from, what their path's going to be. And that manifests itself in her in sort of almost like OCD tendency. She's very much a bit of a control freak when it comes to anything the boys are doing, and, always got her eye on whether they're behaving well. So again, really nice as a black mum. That is something that I think I identify with as well. I've got a son, and things that have probably crossed similar things that have probably crossed my mind, raising a boy. And I think even that difference of raising the boy and raising the girl, never mind colour, is just a massive, big difference. I think, girls, I grew up with a sister as well, I think, and my mum says it all the time. You two are so different from like Sebastian. It's her first grandson, and my sister's got a boy as well. And she's like, what are these? You two were nothing like these two little mad people. Like, I'm experiencing it for the first time. My mother, as a mother of years, she's like, through my grandson, she's like, you two girls were not, you'd sit down, play nicely for a bit, but the boys are just like rough and tumble and madness all the way. But there's definitely some parallels to be drawn, I think, from the character. And it's lovely when that happens with your job, that you really feel like there is a connection between the person that you're playing. That it feels real, and hopefully my performance will show that it is, something that I really do sort of connect with her story.
I think I was going to say the saddest part about, because what Michelle's doing is pure love. She's protecting and preparing her boys for a world that won't always see them as cute little black boys. And she's so aware of that. And I just think it's such a shame that at such a young age, so many black boys get robbed of their joy, their beautiful black boy joy, because their parents know what the world's going to do to them.
Yeah. And it's even more sad that I think that the parents are having to think that way, which is, even another deeper level, because at the end of the day, what we as parents perpetuate onto our kids is what they think, what they feel, their view on the world is very much made by us, up to until they get old enough to be able to say, right, now I'm going to make my mind up about this. So that's another sad thing, Jade, that it is a case of your experiences, my experiences as a black mum, are going to inform what I think my child's experience is going to be. And hopefully, I feel like, for me personally, Gemma, that maybe some things that I've experienced, I hope that my son doesn't have to, if we're talking about, racism or, feeling like the other. Hopefully some of those things he won't have to deal with as much, Yeah.
No, it is.
I think that's so important. And I think I was really, in the beginning when we were doing our last round of research, I was really anxious about writing, a black character. We'd always had diversity in our casting, but not necessarily in our characters in the script. And I spoke to so many, black, brown, mixed race women up and down the country. And I think I said to you, Gemma, that they'd always whisper these things to me. It was always sort of like, I really worry about this, or, and I felt like, okay, well, this is something that is really important to them. And these sort of conversations and, things having to do parent-teacher interviews or teachers taking a certain tone, all of these sorts of things that I wouldn't have known otherwise. That I just thought, this is so part of this incredible human that I think Michelle is. I think she is such a, she's a lion. She's like, she's such a great mom to her kids, but she's so worried about all of these things that sadly she has to worry about.
Statistically, the school to prison pipeline starts when they are in preschool. Essentially, the way they are treated in preschool goes then into primary school. Like there was the documentary. The guy from Birmingham, David Harewood, did, and it was like the likelihood of a black person becoming a prime minister, and he looked right from nursery right through to the university and education, and the statistics are they're quite depressing when you see just what it is. Yeah, because even like children on free school meals, they are way below the statistical average to get 5 GCSEs, A star to C. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? So then when you put into that race, because the teachers may have their preconceived ideas about that, it really does scare you.
right.
So you get Gemma. You get why Gemma is the way she is from the beginning. She's like, that is not going to be my boy.
Yeah, 100%, Jade. I think you find that uphill battle, aren't you, already, if there's already those preconceived notions and biases in there already. If I don't know, I suppose I feel maybe similar to what my mum felt, that there's just some extra work that I maybe have to do as a parent, raising a young son to in whatever way that is, so that I show him that he can do anything. You know, I think again that's what it feeds right into what Michelle. That's what she ultimately she wants. She wants the boys, like any mum does, any dad does. They want the best for their kids, and she does as well. But this maybe is just a bit more of a mountain to climb, unfortunately.
So Gemma, during parenting, which you've probably discovered now that like Sebby's at nursery, your name disappears. So you go to the doctor and you're known as mum. You go to school, nursery, it's Sebby's mum. Everything's mum. What do you want to be known as? What do you want to be identified as post-birth?
Okay, this probably be the one with the raucous laugh. I'm always laughing. I'm happy generally a lot of the time. The one with the raucous laugh, whose house we always stay around.
Ah,
I think that my house growing up was that house. And I think it's very smart parenting, ladies. Come on, let's be honest. The kids.
Yeah.
If we know where they are, then they're safe. Let them do what they're going to do because they're going to do what they want to do. But do it under my roof. So I think, be at the house. My mum's always had a really open sort of door policy at my house, and I had two close friends, two of my girlfriends. One of them that's my best friend. Still now, I'm godmother of her two boys, and she grew up basically more or less like a sister here at my house when we grew up together. And I'd love that for Seb too, that he feels like he can bring his friends back here. They can do what they like. There's an element of freedom, and to keep them sort of a little close to home. But maybe I'm just trying to hold on. But
you're doing that thing where you understand that the world is not the safest place. So while they're working out who they are, you're giving them a safe space. That's not a bad thing at all, Gemma.
That's right. Yeah, that's who I'd like to be known as.
Love it. And I love your laugh.
I don't.
Can you tell us where people can find you on your socials, etc.?
Yes, if I remember, at Gemma K. Jones.
Wonderful.
See, she keeps it really simple for you.
Really simple. That's on Instagram, yeah. I can't remember what my Facebook page is. Gemma Knight Jones on Facebook. Yeah, Gemma Knight Jones.
Do you want to talk about Songbirds?
Oh, bless you for saying that. Yes, and at Songbird Sessions. Songbirds is my company. Like, I haven't got enough to do being a mum. Though Songbirds was there before I became a mum. And it's my company alongside another of my closest friends, Kelly Fraser, is a vocal services company. So we do wedding entertainment from an all-female collective. Again, whoop, whoop.
Love it.
All the ladies. And then we also do vocal coaching, because we do a bit of coaching on the side. That's Kelly's main job, actually, as a vocal coach. And then quite recently, corporate choirs, so going into businesses to run choirs, because just well-being and singing just links so well. So Kelly's actually studying a master's in music therapy. So I think this idea has kind of come from them, just how healing and how amazing singing is for your soul. And obviously for me, singing's just, I don't know who I am if I'm not having a little sing-song and singing something. So, that's Songbird.
Amazing. Thank you so much.
You're so welcome. It's been a pleasure talking to you both.
Thanks so much for sitting down and chatting with us, Gemma. We love having you involved in the show, but it was so great just to get to know you that little bit better and hear your amazing stories.
You can join the club by following us on Facebook, Twitter and Instagram and searching Good Enough Mums Club. We'd love it if you can hit that subscribe button for the podcast, rate and review wherever you listen. And if you know a mum who'd like this, please, please, please tell her about it.
And if the stories in this podcast resonated with you or made you think, or even hopefully reassured you that you are doing okay as a mom. You'll love some of the episodes we've got coming up for you.
Thank you so much for listening. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.